Earlier this week, I was asked about changes to the requirements for self-isolation. And as you know, here in BC, we had been people who were vaccinated were only required to self-isolate for 7 days. We've had a number of discussions across this country looking at data, both from here in BC and from other provinces and from other countries. And we have come to a consensus that with the milder illness that we're seeing in most people right now, that we can make a change to reduce the period of time that people need to be isolated if they're sick. If you are unvaccinated, we continue to say that you must isolate for 10 days from your symptoms began or when your test was positive. There is no change to this. But if you are fully vaccinated and either have no symptoms or your symptoms are resolving, you no longer have a fever, we are reducing the requirement for self-isolation to 5 days. After 5 days, if your symptoms have resolved or are mostly improved, you can go back to activities in the community wearing a mask for an additional 5 days. It's important that we also take precautions. This is a risk mitigation strategy. It doesn't mean that every single person will be through their infectious period, where they're infectious to others, within 5 days, but the vast majority of people are. What we're seeing with Omicron is that shorter incubation period means that people are infectious earlier, from 1 to 2 days before their symptoms start, and that the illness tends to resolve more quickly as well. So that's the reason why we're now reducing it to 5 days, but it doesn't mean that you can go visit in long-term care. You need to be very careful about not going to gatherings for that additional 5 days, wearing a mask when you're around other people to make sure that you're taking all the additional precautions to reduce that risk too. If you continue to feel unwell after 5 days or you still have a fever, then you must continue to self-isolate until your symptoms resolve. So the bottom line is you must stay home for 5 days isolation. If you have no symptoms or your symptoms others for an additional 5 days. There is no need for people to be tested either after an exposure or before at the end of 5 days before they can go back into work, etc. Right now is for people who have been exposed, even a high-risk exposure. If you're fully vaccinated, you can continue to carry on your activities, although that you must not go to group gatherings and social gatherings, for example, where you can may be able to spread it to others. You must wear a mask and self-monitor for 7 days.